Hello friends, welcome to GCA. Hope you all are doing good. So today in this video I will cover role of all armed services of the Indian Army in just 2 lines. So this is going to be a short and crisp video. So again, without wasting any time, let us start. So the Indian Army is mainly organized into 3 categories. First is combat arms. These are the troops that fights front to front battle with enemy. Then the second category is of combat supporting arms. So these are the elements that support the fighting troops, that is the moving elements. Then the third category is of services. So these are the troops that provide logistic support to the arms. Now let us discuss all these step by step. So in combat arms, there are 3 main elements. The first is the armored core. So the main role of the armored core is to deliver firepower with speed at desired place, and these are the first ones to cross international boundary during the case of war, and these consist of main battle tanks like T-90, T-72 and Arjun tank. Then the second is mechanized infantry. So these consist of BMPs, which are infantry fighting vehicles, and they follow the armored core, that is the tanks, and along with it they also carry a section of soldiers, and they destroy the enemy overrun by lighter tanks, which are called as BMPs. The third is infantry, the largest component of the Indian Army. Infantry is known as the backbone of the army. So these are the troops that fights hand-to-hand combat with the enemy, that is the foot soldiers, and they also hold ground during defensive operations. And infantry is playing a major role in active counterinsurgency operations. And the weapon system held with infantry include various kind of rifles, lighter machine guns, medium machine guns, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, and mortars. Then the second category is of combat supporting arms, and these consist of number of elements. The first is artillery. So the main role of the artillery is to provide covering fire to the moving elements and to destroy enemies' war waging capabilities, and these are the troops that operate from a longer distance. So the weapon system held with the artillery include long range guns, howitzers and multi-barrel rocket launchers. Then the second is army air defense. So the main role of the army air defense is to defend the airspace of our country, especially from low flying aerial attacks, and it is responsible for guarding the sensitive locations like headquarters, communication centers, dams and ammunition depots. And the weapon system held with the army air defense include high sensitive radars, self-propelled guns and missile systems. Then the next is Corps of Engineers. So the Corps of Engineers provide engineering support to the army by laying minefields, constructing bridges and defenses, and establishing water points during operations. And after completing its engineering tasks, it is required to hold defenses like the normal infantry. And the Corps of Engineers had wide range of equipments like dozers, tractors, earth movers, and all type of mines. Then the Corps of Signals. So the main role of the Corps of Signals is to provide full-scale communications and electronic support for the army and operational connectivity for the Navy as well as the Air Force. And it is also responsible for the communication and cyber security. Then the next is Army Aviation Corps. So it provides both combat as well as logistical support to the ground-based troops through airborne operations, basically deployed in the frontier areas along LOC and LAC and the northeastern part of India. And the equipments held with the army aviation include attack helicopters and utility helicopters. So the third and the last category is of services, and these also consist of number of elements. So the first is ASC, that is the Army Service Corps. So the Army Service Corps is the oldest and the largest administrative corps of the Indian Army, and it is mainly responsible for the provisioning, procurement and distribution of supplies of food ration, fresh and dry eatable items, and also FOL, that is fuels, oil and lubricants. Then the next in the services is the Army Ordnance Corps, that is the AOC, and it is mainly responsible for providing complete range of clothing items, spare tools, and it is also responsible for the maintenance and supply of ammunition for training and operations. Then the next is Corps of EME, that is the Corps of Electronics and Mechanical Engineers. So the EME is responsible for the repair and the maintenance of complete fleet of equipment and weapon system held within the forces, and during operations they are responsible for the recovery of the vehicle casualties. Then the next is Intelligence Corps, which act as eyes and ears of the designated commander, and it is mainly responsible for collecting, collating and converting the data into actionable information, and based on which the various CI operations are launched. Then the Army Medical Corps, that is the AMC, it is responsible for issuing advisories on health and hygiene of the formation, and its duties also include the conduct of yearly medical examination of all the troops. Then the Army Dental Corps, which is responsible for providing dental care to all the personnel as well as their dependents. Then the next is Corps of Military Police, that is CMP, and it is mainly responsible for maintaining a high standard of personal and vehicular discipline and also to prevent any breach of security. And during war, CMP is responsible to handle prisoners of war and also to assist in regulation of traffic and maintenance of high security alert at all the times. Then the next is Remount and Veterinary Corps, that is the RVC, and it is responsible for the procurement, breeding and training of all the animals held with the services, including horses, mules, cows and dogs, and they also ensure the prevention and treatment of infectious diseases to the animals held on charge. Then the next is Judge Advocate General's Department, that is JAG, which is the legal branch of the Indian Army which deals with military related disciplinary cases and also provide legal assistance to Army in human rights matters. Then the next is Pioneer Corps, which is the operational logistic arm of the Indian Army, which provides disciplined and well-trained manpower where the civilian labor is either not available or it is not desirable because of the reasons of security. And Pioneer units are mostly deployed in forward and operational areas. Then the next is Army Education Corps, that is the AEC, which is responsible for providing educational training and for conducting promotional examination for the troops. Then the Army Postal Service Corps, which caters for the all postal needs of the defense services. Then MNS, that is the Military Nursing Service, which is a part of Armed Forces Medical Services. Then the next is the Territorial Army, which is the second line of defense after the regular army, and the volunteers of the TA, they usually serve for around 2 to 3 months every year. Then the DSC, that is the Defense Security Corps, which provides security at Defense Ministry sites, and it is mainly responsible for ensuring the protection and security of defense installations. So this is all about the elements that come under services. Now let us at the end discuss about Special Forces of the Indian Army. So the Special Forces of the Indian Army is the Parachute Regiment, and these operate in small assault teams and they work individually behind the enemy lines. So the Parachute Regiment of the Indian Army is divided into two parts. The Para, that is the Airborne Infantry, and the second is Para SF. Now the Parachute Airborne battalions are the 5, 6, 7, 23 and 29 Para, and the Para SF battalions include 1 Para, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 21 Para SF. So this is all about today's video, and if you want to watch the detailed video on particular arm or service, you can check the playlist from the I button regimental series. So I hope this information will be beneficial for you. So till then, keep learning, keep supporting and keep watching. Best of luck for your upcoming SSB. Thank you.